Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you all so much for joining. I'm so excited to have you all here. I can't wait to go through the presentation we have planned. We have a super in-depth topic to cover, so I think it's going to be really great. Give yourselves all a pat on the back for showing up and joining us to be here and work on your marketing all together. One of the great things about these webinars is it brings together people from all different corners of the world. So while we give folks just another minute or two to hop on and join, I'd love for everyone on the call now to type into the question box feature of GoToWebinar where they're calling in from today. I always want to make sure that you're able to use the question box feature. That's essentially your chat feature for the day, so I'll be able to see your responses and I'll call out some of the responses here. So go ahead and type into there, say hi to me, let me know where you're calling in from. For example, I'm located in Boston, Mass. I love it over here, and I'll talk more about that coming up. But we have some folks already typing in, tons of responses already coming in. We have Courtney from Austin, Texas. Welcome, Courtney. Gina from Alexandria, Virginia. Welcome, Gina. Rachel from Surrey, British Columbia. Welcome, Rachel. Justin from Birmingham, Alabama. Hi, Justin. Shar from New York, New York. Welcome, John from LA. Welcome. We have some folks from Atlanta, Georgia on. Welcome. David from Lexington, Mass, not far from me. Rachel is here from Philly and she says hello. Hi, Rachel. We have John from Salt Lake City, Utah. Delaney from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Welcome. Chris from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Welcome. John from Santa Monica. Yvonne from Austin, Texas. Hello. Haley from Anderson, South Carolina. Justina from Foxborough, Mass. Wonderful. Welcome, Justina. Jack from Fort Lauderdale. Sheila from Jamestown, Kentucky. Barry is here. He says hello. Hello, Barry. We have Yusef from London, Ontario. Welcome. Logan from Bristol, Indiana. Welcome. Brenda from Holland, Michigan. Great to see you. Karen from Pennsylvania. Welcome. Tons of folks typing in here, and I just love that. I just love to start off these webinars on that note. It's just such a good feeling to know that even though we can't all connect together in person, these live webinars connect people from all different corners of the world on one singular call, and we're all working towards the same goal, which is improving our marketing. So this is really great. Thank you all for participating. And again, I'm glad you're able to use the question box feature, because to reiterate, there won't be like a chat feature where you'll be able to see everyone's responses, but this question box feature will feed into me, so I'll be able to see your responses throughout. Great, thanks everyone. So with that, I'm going to jump into a few housekeeping items for today. So welcome everyone. Like I said, I so appreciate you all taking time out of your day to show up for this great presentation. I do want to note that this webinar will be recorded, so don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. You'll get the materials in your inbox later today. Also, with that note, all of our webinar recordings are found on the Local IQ and WordStream YouTube channels. So if you do want to catch up on any of the past webinars that you may have missed, you can always find all our webinar recordings on there. So just to reiterate, this will be recorded and you will get a copy of the presentation with the recording in your inbox later today. But for anyone on this call, I do just want to make sure that you feel good and that you're able to see any of the past recordings if you wanted to as well, which again are on our YouTube. Also, I had you all practice using the question box feature because I want you all to be comfortable with chatting in your questions throughout the presentation, and be sure to save some questions for the Q&A session at the end. If you've attended any of our past webinars, you know we have some really in-depth Q&A sessions. It's kind of a unique experience to be able to just kind of get your questions answered in almost like a one-on-one setting with me. So I definitely be sure that you toss in your questions throughout and stick around for the Q&A session at the end. So for everyone on this call today, I want to get us all on the same page as to who Local IQ is. Now, I know for some of us on the call, you might already be familiar with us over at Local IQ. You might already be working with us too, which is awesome. You might be totally new, and that's fine too. And some of you might be working with or familiar with our sister brands, Reach Local and WordStream. So for everyone on this call today, I want to get us on the same page as to who Local IQ is. And essentially, Local IQ is a fully integrated growth marketing platform that marries unparalleled expertise and innovative technology to give you everything you need to help your business prosper and thrive in the digital marketing space. So how exactly do we do that? Well, technology is at our core. So we use our proprietary AI optimization technology informed by over 1 million local IQ campaigns that we've been running. And you really can't find that data or technology anywhere else. So we use that data-backed technology to make data-backed decisions for your business. And we also give you free tools at your fingertips to put time back into your day so that you can spend more time managing and growing your business and less time on the menial marketing tasks that you might have had to have dealt with in the past. And at the end of the day, we've been in the marketing game for a really long time. So we've been in the space for over 15 years, which if you think of the age of digital marketing, it's not much older than that. So we've really been through it all. We've seen all the platform changes, all the ebbs and flows of the landscape, and we're here to, to show and prove those results from over the years and tell our stories. So that's a little bit about us. Something else that I do want to just highlight quickly is that we're really proud to share that Local IQ is a premier partner with all the major advertising platforms. And this isn't just handed out freely to every marketing platform out there. It's only given to businesses that meet a rigorous set of requirements. So again, making sure that our customers are seeing their campaigns progressing and seeing success with their campaigns. We demonstrate clear platform expertise and skills and thought leadership throughout the space. And again, hitting those requirements in terms of spend and client growth and retention and so on. So really proud of that. And it's not given to every agency or marketing platform out there. So just want to mention that before we move on. And a little bit about me, your webinar host, speaker, and facilitator for today. Hello, everyone. Like I said, it's great to meet you all. My name is Susie. I'm a senior content marketing specialist over at Local IQ, where I write educational content on everything under the digital marketing sun, from PPC to SEO to OTT to everything in between. I've written about it, I've covered it, and I love it. And how I got into this role was I was originally a digital marketing consultant over at WordStream formerly. So I was working with businesses a lot similar to many of the folks that are working on this call today. So businesses of all shapes and sizes, coaching them through their day-to-day marketing best practices on platforms such as Facebook ads, Google ads, and so on. So I took that real life experience and applied it to the educational content that I create for the sites today. A little bit about me, which I mentioned earlier in the call, is I'm based out of Boston. And kind of an unpopular opinion that I have is my favorite season is the winter. So I'm really looking forward to the weather cooling down. I love to go snowboarding on the weekends when I'm not at work. So really looking forward to this season. And that's a little bit about me. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. So if you wanted to check that out, you can find me on there. I do share a lot of the content that I create for the sites. I also share updates on any upcoming webinars, things like that. And speaking of social media, a common question that we get asked on these webinars is, where can you find out more about the topics that we cover here? Where can you find more information about the Local IQ brands and our offerings? Where can you find out more about platform updates, things like that? Definitely follow us on social media. You can find Local IQ on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And then for WordStream, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube as well. We cross promote and share all of our different events. So if you want to attend future webinars like this, definitely check us out. And then also, again, if you feel like, since these webinars are pretty quick and you need more time with any of the topics we discussed, we cover all of the things that we cover in the webinars really in depth on our blog. So if you ever need to say massage a certain concept and kind of, evaluate all the different angles of it, definitely check out our blog for those different types of topics. All right, great. So I'm just going to quickly cover what we'll be talking about today in this 30-minute presentation. So of course, we're going to just cover the basics of marketing psychology, why you marry psychology and marketing together, how to use its powers for good across your different digital marketing channels, 7 different psychology hacks that you can apply in both your search and social spaces, and then of course, some thought starters, some key takeaways that you all can walk away with and apply to your campaigns. And I see someone in here, Chris just chatted in boo Bruins, but I will admit I am a Bruins fan, Chris. Sorry to break it to everyone. Of course, I'm born and raised in Boston, so another unpopular opinion I have is I'm a Boston sports fan. But with that said, keep the questions coming in. I love seeing them as I go on. So let's kick things off with what marketing psychology is. I'm just going to breeze through this pretty quick because I think we can all kind of get a basic understanding of basically what it means when we're talking about marrying psychology and marketing together. So basically, marketing psychology, of course, is just how you're going to approach your different channels with the customer mindset in mind. So kind of working towards different ways to make your customers or potential customers feel certain types of emotions, or just be emotionally motivated to act and become a customer with your business. That's basically the basics. It's kind of just a natural instinct, almost subconsciously. We see these things happen in marketing day in and day out. And I know we're all consumers, aside from being marketers or business owners, like everyone on this call today. Outside of that, in our personal lives, I think we all have the perspective of being a consumer as well. And I think we see a lot of this being applied in the companies and brands that we encounter in our day-to-day lives. So just wanted to touch on that quickly in the definition here. So you can use it in marketing, again, to kind of just emotionally trigger your audience. And by trigger, I don't mean like upset them, but more just cause them, again, to have a certain reaction or feel a certain way so that they are more inclined to potentially sign up to become a lead with your business or so on. So again, like you could use it in ways like with colors. So certain colors can definitely make people feel, have been scientifically proven to make people feel, you know, happy or sad or whatever you're looking to achieve with your branding and with your marketing. And it's fine whether it's a negative emotion or a positive emotion. Both of those can be equally as effective in helping growing your business. So again, just thinking about the colors you're incorporating, the words you're incorporating in your copy across your search or social ads is definitely important. Using, again, those quote unquote trigger words or power words, as we often refer to them, you know, those calls to action and so on. So a couple of like key notes when you're using psychology and marketing. You want to, of course, use it responsibly. So I kind of alluded to this when I was talking about, you know, yes, you want to trigger your audience to feel a certain type of way, but you also don't want to upset them or have the opposite effect where, you know, you were hoping that they would think something was funny or something like that. And I'm sure we've all seen this with brands having pitfalls with this in the past, and then they end up having the opposite reaction. So always be kind of just thinking about what's going to align with your business and your brand. So you don't want to step too outside of the box. You know, you don't want to overpromise or potentially use any sort of tactic that could make your customers feel like they expect something that's different from what you're actually offering. So again, just stepping into that mindset of how we approach our own day-to-day lives and shopping and being consumers ourselves. And again, remembering that as we're approaching our marketing to our potential customers as well. So let's get into the 7 hacks. Again, this is a 30-minute webinar. I know you're all busy, which is why we compressed all this great information into a quick 30 minutes. So for time's sake, I'm going to jump into our top 7 hacks and some really good insight here. So the first one that I wanted to cover is the commitment and consistency bias, basically saying that, you know that old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's basically that principle, right? Where people are going to fall into the same habits over time. They're going to shop at the same types of places, gravitate towards brands that, you know, align with their beliefs or their style or whatever it may be. So, you know, making sure that you're leaning into that brand consistency is really important. So if you have a certain target market in mind and you frame your branding around that at the beginning with your first couple search or social campaigns, then you want to make sure that you're sticking with that same principle throughout. So again, kind of making sure that you're nurturing your customers throughout the journey with the same type of, you know, bite-sized information and branding that they can digest over time and feel like it's a pattern for them. The second one is the anchoring bias. This one I think could be used a lot more frequently, and I think it is a small but mighty psychology hack that gets slept on a lot. And basically, as you can see in this little infographic that I made here on the right, it's kind of just giving someone a baseline to go off of when they're trying to understand the value of your business. So if you're offering them a product, you know, saying that you're dropping the prices or potentially showing a previous or old price that could have been higher, and then showing them a discounted price, that's basically anchoring them or giving them, you know, again, a baseline or an anchor to go off of so that they know what the value of the product is now and can align that value with that discount that you're providing them. So again, if you're being presented a product that is typically $100 that you offer from your business, and you see your competitors are, offering it for much more, you could use that as an anchoring bias here. Without that context, the customer isn't going to really realize the value there. So you want to add that additional context with the anchoring bias to give people an idea of what the worth is of the deal that you're offering. So again, here's an example of, using the anchoring bias in a search or social ad is, again, indicating any sort of markdowns, any sort of, amount saved. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, price driven. I know a lot of the businesses probably on this call today that are, thinking about this type of marketing, it might not be like an e-com based business. If you are, great. If you are selling products, awesome. But if you're a lead based business where you need to drive leads, you could still apply the same concepts, like if you're offering services or something like that. Of course, at the end of the day, you can talk about pricing, but you could also, again, just talk about that value and those, even if you're going item by item comparison of what you're offering versus, the typical offering, that can at least give, again, just something to provide a little additional context and give consumers, an idea of how to really rate the value of your offering. I see a couple other questions coming in on the recording. So just to remind everyone, the recording will be in your inbox later today, and you can find all our webinar recordings on the Local IQ and WordStream YouTube channels. So our third psychology hack here is the paradox of choice. I feel like I fall victim to this one a lot, and I think a lot of people on this call could probably relate. This is just, again, kind of just a funny infographic to display it on the right, but basically it's saying, when you're overwhelmed and see all these different choices all the time, you almost feel discouraged and decide not to make a purchasing decision that day. Like in this example, how am I supposed to decide or weigh all my options when there's too many options? Which one is going to be the best value for me? It will, of course, come down to the consumer's priorities, but a lot of the times the consumer doesn't always know exactly like what will be the biggest priority or the biggest deal breaker for them. So they need to have, maybe limited choices or minimal choices so that they can just funnel into a quicker decision. Because if they're sitting on it too long, I think we've all done this, if you're online shopping, you're thinking about buying something and you go back and forth, and there's so many different options, it's like overwhelming to find anything online. Or I think a lot of people deal with this when they go into the grocery store, right? There's like 6 different versions of the same grocery item, and you're just like, I'm just gonna go for, the cheapest one or the healthiest one, and usually you would go for whatever you would normally go for. But if there's new products and then you end up standing in the aisle for 10 or 15 minutes, reading about one product versus the other product, and then you're like, I'm just wasting time, and then you move on. So that's an example of how the paradox of choice can really help or hinder a marketing campaign. So how you can have it help your marketing campaign is by, of course, limiting the amounts of different choices that your consumers have. So really try and funnel your potential customers down a certain stream or a certain journey to becoming a customer with your business. So for example, again, having only one CTA, so they really only have one choice if they did want to complete an action with your business. Or again, like keeping different varieties to a minimum, making sure your navigation on your website is easy to follow, things like that can really help when you're trying to, again, close business through your social or search ads. So the next one I love a lot too. It's the social proof one. I have this great Mean Girls meme on the right, but I think, growing up, we probably have all been there where, it's again, kind of going through that saying of monkey see, monkey do, right? So you see somebody else doing something and you think it's cool, so you decide to do it too. So social proof is basically kind of the same thing in marketing. It basically means that we're going to go off, what other people say is good or worth it to them. So again, looking at like reviews are very important for, growing businesses. So making sure that your reviews are pulled into your search ads or things like that. That's an example of using social proof to your advantage. Again, to build that trust with your customers. And that's basically what it does, is it's almost taking like word of mouth marketing to a next level where it's more concrete, because you're giving, again, like customer testimonial videos or things like that that can help give other potential customers an idea of what to expect if they were to come and do business with you. So again, just a kind of a little example here of what that social proof would mean. But I think we can all think of many different examples here throughout our lives. It's kind of like when, you know, growing up, you would hear, well, if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? But I think a lot of folks do want to follow the trends of what other people are shopping for or buying for, you know, what local services everyone in their neighborhood is signing up for, things like that. So here's an example of some of our social proofs that we use. Again, just highlighting, you know, certain reviews on your search ad landing pages or on your website. Or again, you could even structure a whole social campaign around customer testimonial videos, things like that. So just another way to, again, get into the minds of your consumers and really have them feel like they are making the right decision because other people have felt like they've made the right decision by working with your business. So the next one is the reciprocity effect. So basically it means kind of like you want to, again, follow the gestures or actions of others. So again, kind of going towards that monkey see, monkey do mentality. So in this example here, we have this guy who posted on LinkedIn, and then you see that another connection did celebrate it and like it. So then she's sharing it out, and then I might be more inclined to also share it out because I see that other people are sharing it out. So again, looking at that reciprocity effect and, you know, showcasing, you know, highlighting customer service. So again, if you're providing great customer service to other customers, you know, other people are going to feel like they're getting their value both ways, where of course you're providing key customer service for them. So again, providing free, valuable information and education. So kind of thinking about the consumer, and they're going to be considering, you know, what's in it for me. So thinking about that when you're providing those value propositions. The next one is the mere exposure effect. So this is more leaning towards like focusing on brand awareness with your search ads and social ads. So of course, familiarity is going to be key here. So it's, again, just building that brand recognition. This funny meme, I think, really describes it well, but basically, you know, the more that someone is exposed to something, the more likely they're going to be akin to it and feel comfortable with it and be able to recall it, feel familiar with it, you know, and so on. So making sure that you're hitting your audience as many times as possible without oversaturating your market, I think is really important here. So here are some examples of the mere exposure effect from our recent summer sweepstakes that we ran. If anyone entered, we ran this in August, and we tried to hit it in as many different places as possible. So here are some examples of some display ads that we ran, which of course display ads could be used as remarketing ads as well. So, you know, remarketing is a really great example on social or search ads where you could be using the mere exposure effect, because of course with remarketing you're showing your brand again and again to, you know, a certain subset of your audience. So that's one example, you know, and then also while they're seeing those display ads, then they're hopping into their email and they're seeing an email from us, and then they're hopping over to our site and they're seeing the promotions for the sweepstakes on our site and so on. So that's just an example from our very own experience of the mere exposure effect and how effective it can be. So again, just maintaining that brand consistency and messaging throughout is really important. To make your brand more recognizable, you know, the last thing you want is for a potential customer to come across your business and not recognize it or not be totally sure that it's a legitimate promotion coming from you. So definitely making sure that you're hitting on that consistency is going to help with your mere exposure effect. And just hitting as many channels as possible too. So again, promoting your content across channels, which is something I talk a lot about in all the different webinars I cover, is really important too, because again, the more spots that you're hitting your audience, the better, because otherwise those are just missed opportunities that as people are hopping from platform to platform, device to device, and so on. And then lastly is this last final effect. I'm not even going to pretend that I know how to pronounce it, because let's face it, I think everyone probably has a different interpretation of how to pronounce this one, but basically it's the effect of the self-fulfilling prophecy. So kind of just saying, if you think something and believe something enough, you're eventually going to see that come to fruition in your actual life. So again, like thinking about how we are thinking about ourselves and how we're considering how we, view our business is how our consumers or our potential customers are going to be viewing our business. So again, like how we're treating our customers, how we're interacting with our customers, how we're presenting our business. Those are the things that are going to impact how customers treat us and view us. So making sure that you're unifying your team and providing a clear and consistent experience for your customers throughout their journey. And again, making sure that you're always finding ways to improve. So even if you feel like your product is the best potential product out there compared to all the competition, your customers might not necessarily believe that. So if you truly, make sure you hammer that into all of your search and social content, eventually that message is going to resonate with your audience. Great. I see some people spelling out how to pronounce it. I love that. There's a few different iterations in there, just so you all know. So I wasn't kidding. There's a lot of people on here that think that there's different ways to pronounce it. So with that, I'm going to jump into a few thought starters. I know the half hour flies by quick, but the main things that I want you all to know from all of this, I know this is a ton of information, is you don't need to do a ton. I think I mentioned like a few different examples of just small tweaks you can make, right? So starting small with like switching out for a certain type of color scheme, switching out for a certain type of call to action. Those are all small things that you can do that is technically using psychology and marketing to, again, positively impact how your audience is reacting to your content. Also, at the end of the day, you want to be earning the trust of your audience throughout. So some of these hacks can help you earn that trust. And then other ways that how you approach it, you have to be wary of maintaining that trust as well. And then again, using your powers for good, thinking about the consumer mindset and thinking about what you would like to see if you were a potential customer for your business, I think is really helpful here. So with that, we're going to put up a quick poll. I know that was a lot of information, and I'm not even going to lie, I flew through it, and I know I did because it's a lot. So if you feel like you need more time, you have more questions. I saw a lot of questions coming in from like unique experiences from your own specific business or industry. If you feel like that's you, definitely hit yes on that poll that I just put up on the screen. It should cover the whole screen here, but basically, if you have more questions, this is a unique opportunity to get them answered and at a time of your choosing in a one-on-one setting. So if you feel like you have more questions, you need more time with this topic, I highly recommend hitting yes here. But I'm going to leave that poll up for the remainder of the webinar. We have a few more minutes here, so we're just going to switch over to the audio portion while that poll hangs out. And I want to answer as many questions as I can in these last couple minutes, and there's a ton coming in. So if you have any questions, make sure you add those in now. Okay, so great questions coming in. The first one coming in from Alan, I'll touch on this quickly, is considering your potential customers' audiences, consumer class, also age, like Gen Zs, etc., a vital factor, or are these strategies universally effective? So I have two sort of answers to this. The strategies are universally effective, but with all of these strategies, I wanted you all to be thinking about how you can apply it to your own unique situation. So you absolutely should be considering your audience's consumer class, right? As he would say it here. But basically saying, yes, you can apply any of these strategies no matter who your audience is, but you need to tailor them to better meet the needs of your specific audience's needs. And I talk about this a lot, but it's kind of fun, feels a little off-putting or funny at first when you think about it, but really take a second and get into the minds of your ideal consumer. Like and really get into it. Picture who they are. Picture that person in your mind. What do they look like? How old are they? What do they do for work? What is their day-to-day like? What is their personal life like? What is their family life like? Where are they traveling to? Where do they live? How much money do they make? Those are all factors that can impact how you approach your marketing, because all of those will lead to different lifestyle patterns, different devices that they're on, different platforms that they favor, and different types of content that resonate with them best. So great question there. Awesome stuff here. I'll try and answer maybe one more question here. Great questions coming in. So many. I wish I could answer all of them, but I know we are right at time. So again, if you have more questions and you feel like you need more time or want individualized, answers, definitely hit yes on that poll. For everyone on this call today, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to keep your eyes peeled for future webinars like this. We have another one coming up this month. And again, the recording will be in your inbox later today, and you can find it on the YouTube. So thank you all, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.